Something really fundamental is shifting in our economy. The hero of an organization, they're no longer at the workbench, they're in the control center. Today, we're going to dig into this massive shift and define the one role that is truly going to architect the future. Let's get into it. I want to kick this off with a question that honestly gets right to the heart of the matter. Just ask yourself this: is your success, your whole competitive advantage, built on something that someone else can just copy? Because let's be real, in the age of the cloned factory, a simple product advantage just doesn't cut it anymore. What was unique yesterday can literally be rolling off a competitor's assembly line tomorrow, and maybe even better and cheaper. And look, this isn't some theoretical problem. It is happening right now. Just take Germany, for so long a symbol of industrial excellence. Back in 2010, it was the world leader in 237 product export categories. Fast forward to 2023, and that number has plummeted to 178. That advantage, built on product perfection, is just melting away. This is the copycat challenge in action, and believe me, it's happening in every single industry, not just manufacturing. So if the problem isn't just about making better widgets, what is it? Well, a lot of companies are throwing money at new tools, new AI, thinking technology is the silver bullet. But the real issue, it's much deeper, and it's internal. The real culprit has a name: organizational debt. Think of it like invisible dirt that's been building up in the joints of your company for years. It's the sum of all those tiny compromises, those unclear responsibilities, the outdated workflows that everyone just kind of works around. It's this invisible force that makes even the most expensive, cutting-edge AI tools completely useless. And this debt? Oh, it has some very real, very painful symptoms. You've got role chaos, where nobody's quite sure who's responsible for what. You've got pilotitis, where countless pilot projects pop up, but they never, ever scale. And all of this leads to a total lack of governance and this deep, structural stress that leaves leaders feeling responsible, but not actually in control. Okay, so how in the world do we fix this? The big insight here lies in a fundamental change of perspective. It's a shift in what a leader even is. It's all about moving from being a cook to becoming an architect. The traditional department head is a lot like a cook, super skilled, managing the day-to-day tasks, reacting to new orders, totally focused on today's menu. But the future? It requires a service owner, someone who acts like an architect. They don't just follow the recipe. They design the entire kitchen. They design the systems, the structure, the workflow, the whole shebang that allows great food to be made consistently and at scale. And this really gets to the core of it all. The new workbench isn't the machine anymore. It's the organization itself. Creating value has shifted from making the thing to architecting the system that delivers the thing. Which brings us to AI. We tend to think of it as this technical tool, right? But that's only half the picture. The real game changer is what we call organizational AI. Think of it like this. Technical AI gives you the brilliant musicians and their amazing instruments. But without a conductor, all you're going to get is noise. Organizational AI is the conductor. It provides the structure, the clarity that lets all those technical tools actually create a symphony. Now, let's be clear. This shift to an architectural mindset, it's not for everyone. The market is very clearly splitting into three distinct groups, and they each have a totally different way of looking at this. First up, you've got the DIY third. These are the folks who see AI as purely a tech problem. The result? Pilotitis, tool sprawl, nothing ever scales. Next, there's the consulting third. They think structure can just be bought off the shelf, which creates this illusion of progress that always falls apart. And then there's the architecture third. They get it. They understand that structure is the strategic advantage. They're the ones who invest in the service architecture needed to win. The real question is, which third are you in? And that's why we're here. This briefing is for that architecture third. It's for the leaders who know that the only way out of the chaos is to actually build a clear path forward. So, if you're in that group, what does this future model actually look like? Well, it's an operating system for the architecture third, and it's built on clear, evergreen logic, not just hope and hype. This model runs on a really powerful three-step sequence. It all starts with creating calm. You get that through clear structure and orientation. When people know where they stand and what the plan is, the chaos just fades. That clarity then allows for real measurability, which creates a mandate for change. Now you can speak the language of the CFO with hard data. And finally, that solid mandate lets you build an architecture that delivers sustainable impact. Calm, mandate, impact. That's the logic. But here's the catch. This structure can't just be forced from the top down. It has to be built on a mechanism that generates its own momentum, and that mechanism is something we call the trust loop. It all kicks off with trust. When leadership shows genuine trust, it enables true employee participation. And I'm not talking about token workshops here, I mean giving people a real say. That collective participation then builds a solid structure that everyone has bought into. This structure then delivers real, measurable impact, which in turn reinforces that initial trust, and the whole virtuous cycle starts again, stronger every single time. And what's the ultimate goal of all this? It's to build an evergreen capability. This is not a one-and-done project. It's about creating a truly resilient organization with clear service chains, defined roles, the ability to measure AI's actual impact, and, this is huge, the freedom to plug in or unplug from any tech platform without being locked in. It's about building organizational sovereignty. So, what's the practical path to get there? How do you actually start this journey from department head to service owner, from cook to architect? The path to becoming an architect is a deliberate 5-step process. We start with step 1, diagnosis, just figuring out your service eye readiness. Step 2 is all about reflection, generating real insight into these new leadership roles. In step 3, we design, mapping out the actual service flow and structure. Step 4 is certification, which solidifies these new roles and proves their value. And finally, step 5 is about sustainability, ensuring this all lasts through peer review. It's a complete journey, from diagnosis all the way to organizational sovereignty. If you take away just one thing today, let it be this difference. The department head is left to just manage responsibility, feeling all of its weight without any of the real control. The service owner, on the other hand, gets to orchestrate impact. They design the system for predictable, positive outcomes. So I'll leave you with a final question. Take a hard look at your own team, your own organization. Are you spending your days leading within the tight confines of a rigid hierarchy, just reacting to problems as they pop up? Or are you already leading via structure, architecting the very system that prevents those problems in the first place? That choice? Well, that choice is going to define the winners of tomorrow.